welcome back to the Community Podcast, or the Liverpool Community Podcast, here at Big Condo Academy. We're in our new studios now, here on Bankfield Street, and we'd like to welcome you to our guest, who is one of the people from the community that we always seek out, someone who we feel is doing some good and deserves some recognition and some attention, even though he himself is a confessed person who says, I don't like attention. But for now, you're getting it. So welcome, Alan Walsh
Thank you very
from
much for having me.
the Anfield Boxing Club. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Yourself?
I'm fine. I mean, listen, I can understand that whole thing about, like all eyes on me kind of scenario. We were talking about how, you've been serving the community for a good while, and we're going to talk about that. But you're the founder of the Anfield Boxing Club, aren't you?
I am, yet to found it.
And so not only have you been dealing with that for past 16 years, you've also go back even further for 30 years as a youth worker.
I do, yeah. 30 years youth worker before a boxing coach. So it was the youth work that made me open the boxing club.
Exactly. I mean, but that's the whole thing. There's always that someone in the community that is kind of I gotta look out for the people that are coming up and everything. And what would you say your inspiration of going into that youth work has been?
It was a youth worker who got involved in my life when I was younger, and he was a boxing coach, he was a martial arts expert, excuse me, and he was the one. It was, without him, I'd have ended up in a completely different path or dead, to be honest with you. So it was the impact that he had on my life, and at such an early age, at the age of 13, 14, he become a massive part of my life. I was going to a youth club instead of going to school and stuff like that. So he was installing all them values and stuff like him as an early age. And it was him who got me into boxing. I could see the youth club I used to go to, they had boxing and martial arts on. So you could see the value of it, you could see the way it was turning young people around. I didn't know at the time, I just know that now.
Well, no, I mean, it's a strong discipline, that kind of physical fitness and everything. Even the combination of martial arts and boxing and everything else like that. I mean, and is that something that you felt like, because you said you deal with a lot of ex-gang members?
Yeah, it's as soon as you walk into a boxing club, it's a completely different playing field. I see young gang members come into the boxing club and it scares them, because you're coming into, I don't mean to sound sexy, but you're coming into a manly world. You're coming into a world where people are naturally tough, they're naturally good at what they're doing. So it's an equal playing field that they're walking into. There's no weapons, there's no anyone else backing you up. Once you go in the ring, you're on there on your own, the two years, stuff like that. So it does, and to get to that stage, you have to install discipline into that young person. You install the rules of the gym and all that into the young person, so they know they won't be going into that ring until they've got all that installed with them, into them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, they're going from a wild environment on the streets to more of a controlled environment in the gym, aren't they? Yeah. And they have to choose what it is that they want to do.
They do, and it's a choice that most of them realise, you know what, this is the best choice. Being in the boxing gym and having youth workers around me is better than having gangbangers around me and gang members. And you've just said it there, it's a quite chaotic life that they live outside the gym. And a lot of them who come into the gym have never had that structure around them, where this is a safe environment we're bringing you into. It's a gang, it's a real positive gang, it's a massive gang that you're coming into, but we'll all look out for each other in the right way. Mm-hmm. We're not looking to take off, we're not looking for you to do stuff for us. We're looking to give you a good life, and we're all going to do it together, and we're all going to learn together and move forward together.
Well, I mean, I think what is good is that being a person who set up this gym, and as a founder, you started out doing the youth work, working with young people, being a young person yourself, so experiencing what they must be experiencing. So you walk the walk and talk the talk. I mean, does that help you with your youth violence reduction service that you provide?
It's weird, because I must be one of the oldest youth workers in the city now.
So but you've been doing it for 30 years. So
when you look at a lot of young people, because people say, oh, they still listen to you and all that. Well, they do listen, because as you've just said, I walk the walk, I've got the scars to prove, stuff like that. And I've seen things in my career that most young people shouldn't be seeing, and stuff like that most people shouldn't see. So when I talk to them, I'm not lying to them, and the young people are very good at seeing right through you, aren't they? So it's one of them. They know I'm not lying to them. I'm doing it for the right reasons. through the youth work, I say it in every session I do when I do thing. I've never told a young person not to carry a knife. I've never told a young person not to stab anyone. That's their choice. I just give them all the stuff behind that, what's going to happen to them, and how they're going to feel once they've done it.
It's like a perspective.
It is, and it's the truth. What I give them, and it's the young people know when you're lying to them, and they walk away from you.
Yeah. No. They know if you've been in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say a word, but I didn't need to. They know if you've been in the stuff.
Yeah.
Now also let's go back to that, like the uncomfortable feeling that I started talking about, because like as a person who's been in service of the community for like 30 years and 16 years and all that with the youth club, obviously you started to get some recognition for the work you were doing, and like see a couple of awards that you were receiving was like from the crime commissioner to the Lord Mayor, the High Sheriff, but for you personally, you don't like the accolades.
I feel very uncomfortable when you're saying them.
Well, but then the thing about it is, do you not think it's appreciation? Because it's like, I often feel like I don't want to be appreciated when I'm dead and in the coffin and I can't hear you. What'd you say? So, don't you think that people just recognizing you for what you've been doing all your time?
Yeah, it's very kind of them, it's very nice of them, but I'm rubbing my legs now because I feel uncomfortable, so they just make me so uncomfortable. It's like, the eyes are on you. I'm not that person where I want eyes to be on me. I don't mind young people looking at me and they're listening to me and stuff like that, but it's one of them when you get inviting you to this bigger. If they're going to send it through the post, that sound, send it through the post and let me just get whatever else. But invite me to these big balls and whatever. And do you know what's really doesn't sit right with me? Because I just think, how much does it cost to put these balls on? And that money can be spent on young people. Rightly or wrongly, I think that way. But at the end of the day, I don't look good in my job if the young people aren't looking good at what we've asked them to do. So at the end of the day, that award should go to that young person or them young people, because they're making me look good.
Yeah. You just doing what you do, and I think that's a rare quality, really, in a person, But you also said, well, hey, but you could keep that MBE though.
You can shove that way the sun doesn't shine. No,
I never said shove, but yeah, I said they keep.
Don't you think that there's too many people now are doing things for their own recognition?
Oh yeah, of course, but that's a whole nother podcast. We're talking about the good that people do. Being recognized for that and everything, but it also it's all right to be humble, in what you're doing as well, because it's kind of like you just said about young people could see you coming, like they could see the snake oil,
Definitely.
But then that's also around the humility factor as well. It's like if you're just a good bloke doing what you do, then that's all cool. There was a situation that you had described about, I don't know how recent this was, but you were talking about there was a stabbing in Tuebrook.
Yeah, there was just a few, about 2 or 3 stabbings in a short space of time, about 2 or 3 years ago in Tuebrook. And we decided that as a boxing club we wanted to do something about it, so we spoke to the young people in the gym. And we went up to there and we took the banners up. We have these banners, Real Men Don't Carry Knives. It was part of the campaign that we have about knife crime and stuff. So we set them up right along Tuebrook. And we had the boxers training there for about 4 weeks, about 3 nights a week, training on Tuebrook. And we had Merseyside Fire and Rescues outreach team, they were with us and stuff like that. So the aim was to install a bit of safety back into the community. If we're prepared to be out here with young people, it's not as bad as what the media are putting out there. It also reinforced that not every young person is carrying a knife, not every young person is doing bad things. Because we had about 30 young people with us who was doing absolute brilliance. We spoke to community members, we spoke to young people who are in the community, and they were made up with us there. A lot of them felt safe, especially the older members of the community. They felt safe that we were walking past. A lot of old boxers were talking to the kids about stuff like that they used to be involved in boxing. It was brilliant. It was just, and in hindsight, I'd like to say that
it was inspiring.
It was brilliant. For me, it was one of the best projects we've done in a long time. And in hindsight, I wish we carried on like now, or doing it all the time. Like it's something that we do in the summers and that, we go into the parks and we stuff like that, we train in parks and stuff. So we're always visible. But I just think taking over the high street was brilliant with all the boxes. So it's something that most probably we will do again in the future. The problem with a lot of stuff we do, it's quite a knee-jerk reaction. Something has to happen before we go, let's go and do this. But again, looking at now, let's do it before that happens. But from that, loads of other kids have attended other boxing clubs, not just our boxing club. We've signposted young people to other boxing clubs and stuff, and fitness sessions to adults and stuff. So yeah, it was good, and the young people really enjoyed it. Yeah. They really enjoyed, especially the ones who are actually good boxers. They actually enjoyed just being on the streets, showing the community that they can actually box.
Yeah, I mean, do you not have any sense of uniformity? Like logos, the colors.
Yeah, I've got my t-shirts on underneath here now with all the logos and all the stuff like that. So we have all that. We had it all shown. That was all on the display and stuff like that. For me, as a youth worker and as a boxing coach, like tonight's going to be like, I have really proud moments where I look at the kids and look how far we brought it. The 5 kids who are competing tonight on a show tonight in Liverpool, they'll all have the t-shirts on with Anfield Boxing Club, and on the back of it, real men don't carry knives, and on the back of the boxing club. So whatever they do, they carry that message. Wherever they go, they carry that message. And seeing that uniformed and seeing, yeah, do you know what? They're part of a they are part of a gang still, but a proper gang, a positive gang.
It's like the Warriors. Warriors.
One of my most favourite films, that and The Wanderers.
I love it.
And The Wanderers.
So, being a boxing club, I was asking you about how many of your young people go off to try and be professional, and everything. And you were kind of honest where you said very few managed to do that.
Very few.
Why is that?
Very few boxing clubs around the country. Their boxers want to be professionals. It's not as high as what people are thinking. Considering how many kids that we actually work with nationally in boxing clubs, it's hard. It's a lot harder than what people think. It's not like I just turn over. You have to spend quite a bit of money to get your medical and stuff like that done, and to get your license. And a lot of them just aren't good enough to do it. And and the ones who do turn over to go pro, a lot of them don't make it. It's not this. And one of the biggest things that people realise, it's not that big glamorous lifestyle that we all see on the telly. You're in camp 12 weeks, it's 8 to 12 weeks at a time. You're not getting paid for it if you don't have any sponsors. So
yeah, man, you gotta eat those raw eggs. You gotta do jogging.
It's a lot of hard work, and you don't realise how much hard work it is putting it into a camp. You're training 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night time. Yeah. And as you say, you can't have your burgers, you can't have your pint of lager.
No. I mean, what about even though if not all go on to be professional, I was asking you, do you have any success stories or something like that?
In the boxing, we have quite a few success stories. Considering we're a boxing club with only 16 years experience, we've had quite a few champions. We've had national champions as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's from a person, that's brilliant when a young person comes through the door. And most of the young people who've won titles for us, they couldn't box. They never had that raw talent when they come in. So we've created that talent and give them that talent. In my youth work life, there's so many success stories, and I know it sounds really corny and whatever else, but just seeing some young people alive after 5 years is a success story. Seeing some young people alive after 12 months is a success story.
Yeah.
But there's always one young girl that sticks in my mind. I worked with her, I was a youth worker, we were in school, and I was with her for years. It wasn't one of these, I'm going to change this young girl overnight. I was with her for years and years and years. We'd done all stuff around violence. She'd been removed from quite a few schools due to violence and stuff like that. And we carried on chipping away, and she was always part of it. She was from a family that was broken and stuff like that. And really massive support from her mum. Her mum was outstanding, lovely woman. But it took years working with her, and every now and again she'd fall back. We put her in a youth advisory board and stuff. She become a mentor for us, for the young people. And then we employed her as a part-time youth worker and a full-time youth worker. And now she's working for another youth organisation, and she's one of the managers there. And I see her every week nearly, and it's just...
What organisation is that?
She works for the LFC Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
And just watching her and just seeing how much she's grown. She's just had a baby and stuff like that. She's got a really strong partner. And it's just one of them proud moments every time I see her. So every time, she doesn't know, but every time she goes past, I just give myself a little pat. Like, yeah, we got her to that stage.
You got to, man. You got to. I mean, and I guess that's really important for you to have mentioned is that because a lot of people could get it twisted if you don't mention it. Is that so? You had just as many females come through the door as you had males.
Oh, especially more now. When I started my career, it was mainly lads we worked with. They had the old boys clubs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But now, yeah, you're looking most probably 60% male, 40% female now.
Yeah.
And in the boxing, even like the boxing side now, it's exploded with females. It's absolutely brilliant. So we've got quite a few females now training within the gym.
Well, you got that Tasha Jonas.
Yes, Tasha is absolutely outstanding. Tasha's took boxing to a whole new level with females. It's, in my personal opinion, I think Tasha's the one who's brought female boxing to where it is at this moment in this country. I do. Her and Katie Taylor, but I think I'd put Tasha above anyone who's took boxing. That's why she's Miss GB.
Yeah.
And so I personally do. And hopefully Tasha will get the recognition and the awards that she should get for the work she's done.
Exactly. So, I mean, as I ask most people, who come in and are working in the grassroots area of, these kind of organizations, and I asked about funding. You don't get much funding, do you?
You don't. It swings and roundabouts with the funding. One day you're lucky to get some, but the majority of the time, no. But that's probably part of our own fault as well, because structurally we're not set up in that way. We just rob Peter to pay Paul and vice versa and stuff like that. The boxing club is every now and again to get some funding through like the crime commissioners and stuff like that. So. And the community foundation, but we're really lucky to get the half money. So if we are looking for funding, that must be the one that we'd grab more than any, because that gives us the ability to feed young people. It gives the ability to make sure young people aren't going hungry throughout the holidays and stuff. So from a personal point of view, that's the one I'd take more than any.
Yeah, the Half Foundation is a fantastic organization. It's so important, grassroots as well as small companies like yourself. So your ethos, as you said to me, was like a safe space for people to come to.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that for years and still continuing to do that to this day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things where I said to you about what is it that you want to promote and stuff, and you said, well, we do what we do.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I used to work for an organisation, Positive Futures, and they had a strap line, everyone deserves a chance. And do you know what, I've most probably continued that strap line myself with where we are. It's one of them. For our future and our vision is just to create a safe space for young people. That's all we want, that's all we've ever set out to do. And just throughout the journey of change, we've started off with drugs and alcohol, we had youth violence, now we've got knife crime and stuff, for the big issues that young people are facing. And hopefully that'll change again soon. It'll be another issue that knife crime will disappear. So I think the ethos of just creating a safe space fits with all these issues that young people face.
Mm-hmm. How many people work in your organisation?
Volunteering, there's 9 coaches, there's myself who does the schoolwork, and Karen Johnson who does the schoolwork, and then you've got me wife who's behind the scenes. She does a lot of stuff for us for nothing. Me daughters help out, so you're looking most probably all together volunteering about 15, but then you've got all the parents who help us run the kids all around the city.
Yeah, because you also said sometimes you have to kind of put in, funding yourself and everything.
Yeah. So
that's why it's always good to let people know that what kind of person is behind the organization, and what you do, because the community can always be asked to reach out and share, support, and because what you said that what you said is sometimes, well, we got to get money from somewhere. It's there's a fee, but we don't charge everybody because we know their circumstances.
We've funny enough, just put a funding bid in today, and the funding bid is to give I think about 100 free places for young people to come into the gym. So we're knocking that financial barrier down. But we have an outstanding, I don't know if can I mention a sponsor?
Of course you can.
We have an outstanding sponsor, DCT UK. Yeah, and they're outstanding.
DCT UK.
They do flooring, and they're absolutely brilliant. We asked them, can we have stuff? And 9 times out of 10 they say yeah. as long as we justify why we run it, and as long as it's justified. Now, we've never ever asked them for wages for any staff or nothing like that. It's all about, can we have this for the gym, because we need new equipment, or can we have this for young people? I spoke to them the other day, said, listen, I said, we're doing Christmas for 50 kids. I said, and we're doing hampers and getting them toys and that. I said, we need selection boxes. But in the day, my wife wasn't too happy. There was 2 pallet loads of selection boxes outside my front door.
Wow.
So these are the sorts of people that we're with, and they care. They have a social conscience, and they actually care. Why? They don't know me. They never met me. They invited us down to their office about 2 years ago, and we told them
There are
what we do.
organizations out there just like that.
There
And
is.
that's what's really
Loads
good,
of
that
them,
you
and
have to be able to mention them.
There's loads of them, and they don't want the recognition. They don't want. These almost be shout at me for talking.
Well, you're going to get it.
Yeah, but yeah, and there is, and there's loads of people doing little things in the community. I had a fella in the sweet shop, Mayo's, by where our boxing club's based. He rang me. Well, he sent me a message on Facebook the other week. Listen, I bought. He had 30 tickets for boxing in the Echo Arena. He said, I want you to give them to the kids in the community. Now, no one, I give them out and everyone thought it was me. It wasn't me. But he just said to me, don't say nothing now. Everyone knows now. So it's stuff like that. People in the community, they will come forward and help you.
No, definitely. I mean, so even though you used to be in up by the, I don't know, the old place up by the Rotunda,
Yeah.
you moved to Queens Drive.
Yeah.
What's your socials? Like, if anybody wants to come to the gym, like, how can they find you?
We're on social media. We're all over social media. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, but under what? Like,
Anfield Boxing Club, and Twitter. So we're on all of them. We do have quite a good following on all them social media aspects. But a lot of the people just go and search in the internet, Anfield Boxing Club, and loads of information comes up on it, stuff like that, where we are. So, but we're going to do a launch soon of the club, because the club is not just a boxing club. It's going to be a place for trauma education, and people who've been involved in trauma, where they'll get all that support and help as well. So we will be doing a launch with the Liverpool Echo and Radio City and stuff like that as well.
it goes back to that whole youth violence reduction stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been the core of our work for most of the last 25 years, violence reduction. It's we looked at all the different issues. Years ago when I started out, it was just about gangs and stuff like that, and the odd fight and stuff. So we looked at that and community issues, community safety and stuff. And then that moved on more to the postcode rivalry, and then we had the drug and alcohol, substance misuse. That was a massive part of my work in Positive Futures, working on the streets with the gangs and trying to get them away from, it was pot at the time and stuff like that. And now it's developed into, still got them same issues, a lot of them issues, but the gangs have got bigger and stronger, and they're now incorporating weapons, so the use of a knife more. So I worked for Aldray Hospital for about 2.5 years, 3 years, set up a programme in there. Any young person who gets brought in, be a victim of violence, whether that's domestic violence or street violence or whatever else, we put a network of support around them, and it was successful, massively successful. And the hospital can't praise Aldray Hospital enough for the work that they helped me do in there, the trauma, people and all that. It was great, absolutely outstanding. But I've come away from that now. That project's still going under the Violence Reduction Partnership, and so I do the street-based work now and the school-based work. And anyone who comes into the boxing will get involved in all that work. We've always got the television cameras down or the radio down doing work with them. So they know that when they come into Anfield Boxing Club, you can learn to be a boxer, but you will give something back to your community.
Yeah.
And that's the ethos we have. You will give something back to your community. It's not just about take.
Yeah.
So, like, some of them may do sponsored walks. We'll do like the Joseph Lappin run once a year, and we'll do walk. I think some of the lads have got plans to go up Movammer and stuff.
What?
Go up Movammer, climb up Movammer,
Movammer,
do like a run up Movammer to raise money for the club. We've just done a Halloween party with we call them the little narcs. We have loads of little junior kids in age 5 to 9 year olds, and they've just done a Halloween where they raise money. One of the coaches takes kids to the footy ground where they do collections for the club. All goes back into the kids, all goes back into helping. We have kids who come to the club who can't afford boxing boots, so we buy that and stuff like that. But all that sort of stuff, all the reason why all that we try and do that, like give young people stuff, so saves them going out robbing, saves them getting dragged into gang culture and getting groomed into gang culture and stuff like that. We work very closely with the police, the courts, and schools and education and stuff like that. Young people who come to us know that. They know that we work with them. We're not going to keep it a secret from who we work with. They know that we work, and for us to keep a young person safe and to keep them healthy and alive, that's it. I've seen young people stabbed to death. I've seen that sort of stuff, and I don't want to see that again. That's why we have that ethos that the club is a place of safety.
A safe space for people to come. Yeah. Well, you know, Alan Walsh, I just want to thank you for, joining me here on the Liverpool Community Podcast as one of our first guests in our new studios.
Lovely studio.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And everything. And I think Anfield Boxing Club, I mean, it's fantastic. You know, like I said, I used to see it, I used to pass by it and everything like that, but I never really knew that it was doing so much good in the community. And I think that's what's important about having these kind of conversations with people to let people know, like, what's going on right down the road and everything. And, if you're interested in, sending your child to the Anfield Boxing Club, like you said, they're on all the socials on the Anfield Boxing Club, and, if you believe in their ethos, I think, this is a great place for a young person to, grow into an adult person.
Thank you very much for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me. So this has been, the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm Chase Johnston-Lynch, your host, and you know what? For now, we out of here. Peace.